Of all the directors that I came up with, Ti West is one of the boldest and most profoundly unique talents of my generation of genre filmmakers. From his earliest works like The Roost and Triggerman, to the astounding House of the Devil, The Innkeepers and The Sacrament, and the upcoming Western In a Valley of Violence, each film he makes could only be a Ti West film. In a time period where it's never been harder to get original films made, Ti consistently and confidently delivers his movies with visionary craftsmanship and in a style that's all his own. And our genre is a better place because of it. I'm Adam Green, and tonight, my friend Ti West joins me for my scary sleepover. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
I'm glad that you're here. Look, I don't normally dress up my little woman's dog, but because you did a Western,
I remember this one from the podcast.
Yeah, I figured I would do a Western theme.
That's very topical.
She's very excited to see you.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's it.
I don't know why. I don't know why I went for that. I should have just existed like real life. Like I'm about to write this new movie, and this is great because this is keeping me from doing that.
Perfect. I'm glad I could help.
I just think about it every day.
Do I get a credit on that then? Like that thing?
Special thanks, I'm
special
sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Western. Like you're done now.
I'm done. Like literally, we just finished. We finished shooting like a year ago. But the final, like, can we watch it and make sure it's not broken? Which you always have to do 600 times because there's always like, no, there's something weird in the sound there. There's a track muted. No, there's not. And then you're like, there is. It's 2 frames off. You can't even tell it's 2 frames off. I'll put money on it.
Does it bother anybody else that this is out of sync? That must have been so fucking cool though, because I mean, it's a completely different. I mean, look, there's different genres of movies and stuff, but Westerns are its own thing. Especially for you, who likes to take your time with things, who really cares about the framing, the art of the actual, like, I mean, that's perfect for it. You know, like in a romantic comedy, for instance, nobody really cares how well you framed the shot or how cool the camera moves were. They just want cute faces saying cute things.
Yeah.
Would you ever do a romantic comedy?
Yeah, I'd love to do that actually. Which sounds sarcastic, but that was just me being genuine.
I think we should show everybody that we can do a romantic comedy. Let's do it. Wait,
okay.
All right. I'm gonna grab a record at random. Okay. I'll try to make it challenging. I'll try to pick something challenging. A song title is gonna be the name of the movie.
Okay.
And we'll use like whatever the band members' names are as the characters, and then we got like 5 minutes to try to come up with the greatest romantic comedy ever. But I'm going to try to pick something challenging and not something that would normally have.
Well, I can see your record collection, and can only go poorly. But so it's like her name is Odorous. I mean, it's like all of this is sort of destined for disaster. But I'm game.
So our options are Lunatic of God's Creation, Sacrificial Suicide, Oblivious to Evil, Dead by Dawn. Well, obviously we can't touch that. Blaspherian, Deicide, Carnage in the Temple of the Damned. That sounds like a great romantic comedy.
I mean, it's clear to me why you have not been making romantic comedy. Day of Darkness looks reasonable, about a breakup.
Yeah? Yeah?
Or Oblivious to Evil could be about, like, Day of Darkness I think is the most, because Sacrificial Suicide is a tough one to get romantic.
Marketing's not gonna love
Yeah,
that.
it's a tough one.
So, these are all dudes. I don't think these guys have ever talked to a woman, to be honest with you. There is not a female name on this thing. But we can turn their names into women's names. Like sure. Eric could be Erica.
Yeah, I'm with that.
All right, so Day of Darkness. We just kind of figure out what the trailer is then, I guess.
Well, it has to do with the breakup is my feeling. It's like the Day of Darkness is the big breakup, which is ultimately going to lead to like the Day of Light in which they meet. This is how they meet. It's like the worst thing in the world, but actually it's perfect for Erica. So she has to work in some sort of like ad agency or some completely uninteresting movie job.
Okay.
They always work in ad agencies.
No. So it starts with a breakup. So we could actually open the movie with like our main character Erica crying on the floor. But because it's a day of darkness, it should be a lot of shit should go wrong at the beginning of this day. Like her cat dies and her boyfriend breaks up with her.
She's walking down the street and the car does and splashes her. With the
water. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. All right. So her cat dies. She gets splashed with water. She spills coffee on herself, and her boyfriend breaks up with her because he's been sleeping with her sister or something like so.
Yeah, who forgot to feed her cat.
And that's why the cat's dead.
Yeah.
Boom. All right. Well, so far it's a laugh riot.
It's true. So this is Act 1. Imagine where it's headed. So her life sucks, and then
she's thinking she's starting to have suicidal tendencies or something like that. Something drives her, like it's so bad that she finally agrees to either go to like a psychic or a counselor or somebody, and that's either that could be the person that she's gonna end up falling for, or there's somebody else who's also going to the counselor or to see the psychic or the tarot card reader or whatever, who's also being forced to go because their life is bad. Because I mean, where is she gonna meet this guy? Or let's not make it a guy. What if it's another woman?
What if she goes to a psychologist and they give her like some antidepressant thing, and then she just falls in love with everybody? Like it just flips this thing so hard that everyone she meets is like the perfect guy.
They give her a trial drug, right, to make her happy.
Right.
That makes her fall in love with everybody.
Maybe it doesn't make her fall in love with everybody, but it just makes everybody she meets seem like the perfect man. So every time she runs into any guy, he's just like Prince Charming.
Okay.
And it's because her brain's now different. So even the guy
And
doing
that's the
something
thing.
stupid,
You need to change your outlook and stop being so negative. You
Yeah.
gotta find the positive in people.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, there's a guy who gets the same trial drug, and ultimately what I'm trying to get at is once they realize that each other had taken that drug, that's when we get to that third act of like, oh, so this was just the drug or whatever, and they find out both of them, they both had placebos. They really did connect like that. They just had to be open
and
to
the
it.
ad for the drug where they show the commercial could be like Day of Darkness or whatever, and then they tell you why it can feel like, are you having a day of darkness? Boom, the drug, and that's we tie in the titular.
Turn your dark days to light.
Yeah.
And we could cast it with YouTube stars.
Easily.
They'll all be on those like hoverboard things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No giant visual effects sequences. That should be the first rule.
All right.
None of those
Yeah.
in this.
I was going to
romantic
say the
comedy.
guy should be played by Andy Serkis and all be done on green screen, and then we just put him in as the perfect man. But we've done it. Yeah.
Day of Darkness, it's going to come out next year, and it's going to
On
be
Valentine's
fucking
Day.
on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
It will become the ultimate romantic comedy, the bar to which all romantic comedies are set. And like the sequels could be, I mean, God, with Day of Darkness, you could have Eternal Day of Darkness. You could have. There's a lot of different darkness things you could. I don't know if this movie's going to get made.
It's unlikely. Unless, given the title, we change it to a horror movie.
Don't.
That'll be there until the end of time or until they update the bathroom.
So normally, I'll have two of the person's movies, two movies that you're involved in or whatever. And so I picked these two, probably your two most popular, of course, but House of the Devil was probably still my favorite, but you know what? I don't know. Maybe, probably my favorite. But this was fucking great when Dark Sky put this out with the and then the Blu-ray is in here. And I mean, do you know how many of these they made? Was it like a very little
Very
amount?
few. It was only a few hundred, I think. It's certainly less than 1,000. But no, they did a really great job with it. It was like they kind of mentioned doing it, and when I finally saw it, I was really. It's like this is one of those things that's like you really got to nail it, or else it's like corny. And I think they did a really, really great job with it. It's cool that you have that. Not very many people have them.
So if we were gonna pick one of these to watch tonight, which one would you pick?
Well, let's
Don't
go
let the
with
packaging.
I was
persuade
about
you.
to. Well, let's go with the Innkeepers.
Nice. All right. Really wanted House of the Devil, but whatever.
Well, I wish I could go back to that. That's the only thing I'm really proud of. Is that I've asked us can we put a title before the movie that says the producers of the film wish you to play it loud. And they were like, yeah, okay. And I was like, wow, they said yes. I get like PTSD when I see my own movies.
I found it takes 7 years. After 7 years, I can see what the audience sees when they watch it. But until then, I just see everything that wasn't the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah. I can either just write and direct my own movies or be like a busboy. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know how to work on movies. So, but all my jobs have been shitty minimum wage jobs. And that's what a lot of this movie is, and it's a lot of things like taking out the trash and the trash leaking. And so she did this, and the goal was to get it to have her struggle to get it in the trash and then have it leak. And it's never gonna work, right? You'll never get it.
Right.
And I was like, I hope she understands what I'm talking about. And this is just what she did. And it's me behind the camera trying not to laugh as she just fails every time.
Right.
And then what's amazing, because this is just real life, I suppose, but then this is the best moment ever, is this is when the movie gods, every once in a while they just do you a solid. And so she's there, and then bam, the stuff starts dripping out.
And it's leaking.
Yeah.
So that's still to this day one of my favorite things. Every movie has like one thing that I'm like, okay, I really like that one thing, and that's the one thing I really like about this. But that's the one thing I think I did, and I didn't even do it. Sarah did it, but like I think like that's the thing. I'm like, that went exactly as I hoped it to go.
But see, this is so funny because I've seen this movie several times at this point, and if someone was to ask me without you here, being like, all right, so if you think if Ty was going to pick one moment from this movie to discuss or talk about, you think it would be one of like the scary moments, or especially like, the last like 10, 15 minutes of the film, or even just some of the comedic dialogue that she and Pat have. But instead, it's the shot of her trying to get the trash.
It's easily one of the best things I've ever been a part of.
You shoot trash well.
That's what I'm making a career out of it.
So you asked me to bring something, like a prop or something from a movie, something just like to talk about movie-wise, or something that people would be like, oh, that's a cool prop from the movie. And at first I couldn't think of anything, and then I thought, well, it's a sleepover, so maybe we could just commit. And I brought some cyanide from the set of The Sacrament that we had left over.
Obviously, that's not real.
I don't think so. I would assume it's not, but I've never opened it. There is stuff in it. I had two on my shelf that I kept.
Can I open it?
One that had stuff in it and one that did not. And I thought I should, if you're gonna go big.
I can tell cyanide from the taste of it.
Yeah. I assume it's like baking soda or something.
Yeah, it smells like food. You know what? Actually, here's what we should.
That would be the ultimate scary sleepover. That's what they call. That's what some people call Jonestown, is the ultimate scary sleepover.
What scares Ti West in real life?
I don't have a good like spiders or something answer like that. For most normal stuff, I think I can handle life okay. But where my like neuroses come down, where I get like, I don't know, scared is probably the right word, but not scared in the way like horror movie scared, is that I don't like. It's not the public, but I don't like public environments in which you don't have control, and which is why I'm a director, probably, is like a control freak thing. But I don't like, because I feel like if something terrible happens, I can handle it. But I don't think other people can, and I don't want to be connected to their not being able to handle it. So, for instance, like on a plane, when shit gets crazy on a plane, I'm good. But when the person next to me freaks out, I get really I get like anxiety, and I get weird. So I don't want to be around that person.
So like when you talk about like shit getting crazy on a plane, like turbulence or
or whatever would scare people.
So that doesn't bother you?
No, I'm good with it, because one, I know that planes don't get brought down by turbulence, and two, if they do, nothing you can do about it. So you just gotta let it go, ride the lightning, as their blanket says. But like the same thing with like really crowd, like when a concert's over and everyone's leaving at the same time, and you get in that kind of like close. It's not a claustrophobia thing. If one of these people freaks out, I have to deal with it, and I don't want to deal with it. And so then I get anxiety and that kind of stuff. That bothers me. And just certain weird public settings like that. Like it doesn't like scare me, but you can see my face go into weirdo mode. Like where you have that thing where you're cool, and then you're like, why did you just suddenly get weird? And it's like, I don't know, it's a lot going on in here.
Right. Not that anything can necessarily just be summed up, but would you say like other people are your biggest fear? I don't mean that like everybody,
kind
but
of. Like that's what I was saying about like it's not quite the public, but it has something to do with that. But I think all this just leads to why it's a control freak thing. It's like when you have control, then these things that happen in your life, you're a part of that decision making, and when you don't, there can be these monumental moments in your life that had nothing to do with you, and to me that scares me. That like something could change my life and I had nothing to do with it.
So how do you deal with a fear like that though? Because no matter what, your whole life.
Like I don't think about it. Like I've yet to get to a point in which I'm scared to go somewhere. Like I don't really think. Like in hindsight, I can think about it and go, yeah. But I have yet to have that like, well, I'm going to.
It hasn't crippled you yet.
Yeah, but that having been said, I'm
it.
kind of a hermit anyway. Like I'm a pretty introverted person. It's a weird thing because it's like. It doesn't seem like that's going to change, and I guess it will get worse. But I suppose that the reality is the odds are very good that it will not happen to you, and so you have to just kind of. It's the same way as like, I don't want to get eaten by a shark, but I'm not at the point where I don't want to get in the ocean yet.
Right.
I'm more there than I was when I was a kid, but I'm still getting in the ocean. But like, the odds are good. I'm playing the odds. It's like, but. You lose an arm and you're thinking I should not. The odds would have been better if I never got in the ocean.
But look at these people who lose an arm or a leg and get right back in the water like a week later.
But I think that's like, what else are you gonna do?
You know what I mean? I think there's a point in which
Not swim.
yeah.
Be a hermit like us.
Yeah, but I think when, beside the obvious of like, well, you're confronting it, I just think like, you're still the same person in a way, and you still have to have some fun in your life, you know. Otherwise, you sit at home just thinking about the accident. And so I think that's the case. I mean, it's funny. A lot of times, people who have terrible injuries are the most inspiring people that exist, because
That is true.
they have developed a different way to think about life. And I think that's something that we can all do. We can all just change the way our consciousness works by just deciding to. It just sounds like you can't do that. Some people are forced to do that, and then you're forced to be like, okay, well, if I can't walk, for instance, I have to either be upset about that 24 hours a day for the rest of my life, which is too much, or you have to like find all this really great stuff that you like to do that doesn't affect, and then that's awesome. And so like, but it's a weird thing to. It's definitely scary to think about. I mean, I think having some sort of catastrophic injury is another really terrifying thing.
Well, on that note, now I'm definitely not going to sleep. Because that's not even like a fear. That's a million things to worry about. That's every
Yeah, it's daily life.
person there is.
That's why I brought the cyanide. Sometimes it's just a little too much.
Is that how our romantic comedy is going to end? Day of Darkness
This
ends?
is the day. Yeah, Night of Darkness equals the cyanide.
There's no way that that's real.
Well,
of course, look at it. It's a huge
You're underestimating
thing.
me as a filmmaker and my desire for authenticity.
I get
But
you.
I thought you were going to say that, so I took the liberty of preparing something for you to drink.
You didn't put that in it.
Go ahead.
You put that.
I think if you're so confident. and
Well, no,
this is
I'm
like a
100. I already
this is like a
tasted it.
Princess Bride moment.
I'm 100% confident that that's not cyanide. But no shit. You don't know what's in there.
Only one way to find out.
It's sugar, right?
Cheers.
Fucking.
Just man up.
How do I know that you? It's sugar.
Hey, Arwen.
She's smart.
Well,
Good night.
It was sugar. It was sugar.